Hey everyone, and welcome back. We are ready to dive deep into traction, get a grip on your business today. The author is Gino Wickman, and it's an amazing book for entrepreneurs, really a practical toolkit, written by someone who's been there, done that, and helped thousands of businesses thrive. So no ivory tower theories here, just real-world strategies that work.
Yeah. I really appreciated that about the book. It was refreshing to read something written by somebody who's actually in the trenches with entrepreneurs and understands, the common frustrations they experience.
Absolutely. I think one of the most compelling things about the book is this statistic that he shares that clients using his system, EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System, see an average 18% revenue growth per year. That's not just staying afloat, that's serious growth.
Absolutely. And it really highlights the fact that he's not just spouting theories, he's sharing what actually works in the real world.
Right. And that's really what we want to do in this deep dive is to dissect each chapter, pull out those juiciest insights, those golden nuggets, and really give you some actionable takeaways that you can apply to your own business today.
Exactly. And in the first chapter, he kind of sets the stage by acknowledging, those common struggles that I think many entrepreneurs face.
Yeah.
Things like hitting a growth ceiling or feeling constantly overwhelmed, constantly putting out fires.
Yeah. Have you ever felt like your business is running you rather than you running your business?
Oh, absolutely. I think every entrepreneur has been there at some point. It's that feeling of being, trapped in the day-to-day grind and not really making progress towards your long-term goals.
Exactly. And that's where EOS comes in. It's like a roadmap to a well-oiled business built on 6 key components. Those components are vision, people, data, issues, process, and traction. And he doesn't just throw these concepts at you. He really breaks them down step by step, showing you how to strengthen each one.
Yeah. It's a really, really holistic approach to building a business that can run smoothly, even when you're not there, micromanaging every single detail.
Right. And I think that's the dream, right? For your business to run without you having to constantly be putting out fires.
Exactly.
So let's zoom in on that first component, vision. Chapter 2 really tackles this head on, and it's about so much more than just, having a vision board or writing down some goals.
Right. It's about making sure that that vision is clear, it's concise, and it's shared by everyone in the organization.
And he makes this point really well with a story about a company that almost went into the powder coating business. It's a great example of how getting distracted by, shiny objects and losing sight of that core focus can lead you down a rabbit hole.
Yeah. That story is a real cautionary tale for all of us.
Mm.
A lack of a clearly defined vision can lead to, misaligned priorities, wasted resources, and ultimately, failure to reach your full potential.
Right? It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and lose sight of the bigger picture. But to help you crystallize that vision, Wickman introduces this really powerful tool called the Vision Traction Organizer, or the VTO.
Yes. And it's essentially a blueprint for success. It's a series of 8 key questions that you answer with your leadership team.
Yeah. Questions like, what are your core values? What's your 10-year target? What's your marketing strategy?
And this process, it really forces you to get granular about, what you want to achieve and how you're going to get there. No more vague aspirations, just concrete goals and a clear path forward.
Absolutely. And having that shared vision is not just about setting goals. It's about aligning everyone in the organization from the leadership team to the newest employee. When everyone's rowing in the same direction,
Yeah.
that's when the magic happens.
It-
So we've talked about vision. Let's move on to people, right? Chapter 3 dives into this crucial concept of getting the right people in the right seats. It's become almost a mantra in EO circles, and for good reason. It's about making sure that each person in your organization is not only talented, but also in a role that plays to their strengths, their passions, and what he calls their unique ability.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that everyone has a unique ability, something they're uniquely great at. And when you can identify that and put people in positions where they can really shine, that's when you see the best results.
It's so true. And he provides some really practical tools to help you figure this out. Things like the People Analyzer, which helps you assess whether somebody's core values are actually aligned with the company's, and then the Accountability Chart, which I think is a really, really valuable tool.
Yeah, absolutely. The accountability chart really helps to clearly define roles and responsibilities,
Mm.
and it eliminates confusion, it eliminates overlaps, and it really empowers people to own their roles and excel in their areas of expertise.
Right. It brings so much clarity, but he
Yeah.
does acknowledge that sometimes that clarity can be uncomfortable, especially if somebody realizes, hey, I'm not actually in the right seat.
Right.
He actually shares an anecdote about a VP of sales who was visibly uncomfortable throughout the whole process and ended up quitting. And I think that really highlights the fact that sometimes, even though it's tough, making changes and getting the right people in the right places
Hmm.
is essential for growth.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes those tough conversations are necessary to really move the business forward.
Right. And, speaking of clarity, that brings us to the next component, which is data. Chapter 4 dives into data, and Wickman uses this really vivid analogy of a plane flying blind over the Atlantic. Kind of a terrifying thought. But it really drives home the point that you cannot effectively run a business without reliable data.
Right. You need to know your numbers, you need to know your key performance indicators in order to make, informed decisions and track your progress.
Absolutely. And he introduces the concept of the scorecard, which is essentially your business dashboard, a weekly report that tracks 5 to 15 key numbers that give you a pulse on your business.
Mm.
So things like website traffic, conversion rates, customer acquisition costs, monthly recurring revenue, all those numbers that help you see, okay, how is my business actually doing?
Right. It's about moving beyond those gut feelings and making data-driven decisions.
Right.
And one of the things I love about the scorecard is this concept he introduces called everyone has a number.
Yeah. It's a brilliant way to create individual accountability and motivate people to contribute to the company's goals.
Exactly. He even shares an example from Dale Carnegie about Charles Schwab and the steel mill. Schwab simply, wrote a number on the floor of the mill, the number of tons of steel they wanted to produce that day. And just by having that clear, measurable goal visible, productivity skyrocketed.
It's such a simple concept, but it's
Yeah.
so powerful. Just having that number, that target in front of you can really drive results.
Absolutely.
Now, let's face it, no business is without its issues. And in Chapter 5, Wickman tackles this head-on. He stresses the importance of open and honest communication, even when it means being vulnerable.
Yeah. I really appreciate that he emphasizes vulnerability. It's about creating a culture where people feel safe to speak up about problems and concerns without fear of retribution.
Right, because you want to catch those issues before they snowball into something bigger.
Absolutely. And to manage those issues effectively, he introduces this concept of issues lists. So there's one for the overall VTO, one for each department, and
Yeah.
even one for individuals.
It's a system.
Yeah.
It's a system for capturing those problems and making sure that they don't get lost in the shuffle.
Exactly. And then there's the issue solving track, which involves, identifying, discussing, and then solving the issue. And it sounds, fairly basic, but so many teams, they get bogged down in discussions without actually, identifying the root cause of the problem or taking concrete steps to solve it.
Absolutely. And he even shares a story about a family business that was paralyzed by consensus. They were so afraid to make tough decisions or disagree with each other that they just weren't making any progress.
Yeah. That's a great example of how, a fear of conflict can actually, hinder progress.
So true. All right, so we've talked about vision, people, data, issues. Now let's move on to process, right? Chapter 6 kicks off with this one-word quote from Jim Weichert, the founder of Weichert Realtors.
Yeah.
And that one word is consistency.
Oh, yeah. Powerful word.
Powerful word. And it really highlights the core message of this chapter, which is that documented processes are the secret ingredient to a well-oiled machine.
Right. When everyone knows exactly how things should be done, it creates, efficiency, scalability, and ultimately profitability.
It's like having a playbook for success.
Exactly. And to help you map out those core processes, he provides a tool called the 3-step process documenter,
Yeah.
which is a really simple way to clearly define the steps involved in each key activity. So, from sales and marketing to operations and customer service.
But think about it. Even pilots and surgeons, professions where precision is paramount, they rely on checklists.
Exactly.
It's all about ensuring consistency and eliminating errors.
Right.
And the beauty of these documented processes is that they make it so much easier to train new employees to delegate tasks, and to maintain that consistency even as your business grows.
Absolutely. So chapter 6 is really about, bringing order to the chaos and creating a system that works even when you're not there to personally oversee every single detail.
Yeah. And that's the dream. So we've covered a lot of ground here, but there's so much more to explore in traction. We've talked about vision, people, data, issues, process, and next time we're going to dive into the final component, that traction component, and really see how all these pieces fit together.
Yeah, and that's where it gets really exciting. You put all this work in to get the right people, to define your vision, to track your data, to solve your issues, to document your processes, and then, the traction component is where you really start to see that momentum building.
Absolutely. So be sure to tune in next time as we continue our deep dive into traction. Get a grip on your business.
And until then, start thinking about how you can implement some of these strategies in your own business. Even small changes can make a big difference.
Absolutely. So until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep pushing forward.
And keep getting traction. Bye. So, we spent the last part talking about getting the vision right, assembling the right team, using data effectively, solving issues head on, documenting your processes. And, all of this builds up to that final component of traction. And that's really where we put all those pieces together and start seeing some movement towards our goals.
Yeah, it's like all the hard work leads up to this.
It really does. And in chapter 7, Wickman gets really real about, the struggles that entrepreneurs face before they've implemented that traction component. He shares a lot of direct quotes from clients, things like, we were constantly putting out fires, or we had no clear priorities.
Well, I've been there.
Right.
That feeling of busy but not productive.
Yeah. We were just stuck in that day-to-day grind. So it's the difference between activity and progress.
Totally.
And to combat this, he introduces 2 key disciplines, rocks and meeting pulse.
Okay, so rocks. Tell me about rocks.
So rocks are your 90-day priorities. So think of them as like your quarterly must-do list, the big, impactful tasks that'll really move the business forward.
Oh, I love that. So it's about, narrowing your focus and really saying no to anything that doesn't support those top priorities.
Exactly. And, and what's really powerful about this is everyone in the organization sets rocks. So from the leadership team down to individual departments and even individual employees.
Wow.
It's about alignment. It ensures that everyone is working toward, those same overarching goals.
So powerful.
Yeah. Imagine the power of an entire organization, moving in sync. Everyone laser focused on, those critical few priorities.
Yeah, that's the power alignment for sure. Okay, and you also mentioned meeting pulse. Tell me about meeting pulse.
Right. So meeting pulse is all about establishing effective meeting rhythms, regular structured meetings that keep everyone on the same page accountable and, focused on achieving those rocks.
Okay, so it's about transforming, those long, meandering, unproductive meetings that I think we've all experienced into really focused, efficient sessions that actually drive results.
Exactly. No more wasted time, just, clear agendas, time limits, and productive discussions that lead to action.
Love it. And he actually provides a really detailed structure for these meetings,
Yeah.
Including specific agendas, time limits for each item, really making sure those meetings are productive.
Yeah. No more time-wasting gripe sessions.
Right.
Which we've all sat through.
Absolutely.
And to really illustrate the transformative power of these disciplines, he shares some before and after statements from clients that have implemented EOs, and the before statements are, just they're riddled with, frustration, chaos, and lack of direction.
Yeah.
But the after statements, they paint a picture of clarity, accountability, focus, and ultimately success. And it's incredible to see, how these seemingly simple tools can have such a profound impact.
It's amazing. It's like everything just clicks into place.
It really is.
So, okay, now, Chapter 8 kind of guides us through putting all these pieces together. Does he recommend, a specific order for implementing EOs?
Yeah, so he recommends, starting with the accountability chart in rocks, but, he also reassures us that, it's okay to move at your own pace.
Okay, yeah.
He understands that, every business is different and what works for one might not work for another. And he even shares examples of companies that successfully implemented EOs at at different speeds, some fast and some slow, proving that it can work for businesses of various sizes and structures.
I love that he emphasizes that it's not a race, it's about
Mhm.
finding that pace that works for you and your team.
Ex-
And then we get to chapter 9, living it. And here Wickman really encourages us to think beyond just, achieving goals and to really embrace the journey of building a truly great company. He uses this analogy of the road to Hana in Maui where, it's this beautiful scenic drive, but the destination is just this small town with a gas station. And it's really about the journey itself.
Yeah, it's about finding that fulfillment in the process of building something meaningful, something that makes a positive impact on the world. It's about enjoying the ride, not just, focusing on that destination.
And he gives us some really practical advice, for staying focused amid all those inevitable distractions. Things like finding challenges within the business to keep you engaged, or, even stepping away entirely to pursue a new passion if that's what feels right.
Absolutely. And he also emphasizes the importance of clarity breaks, stepping away from that daily grind to gain some perspective and recharge your
Yes,
batteries.
so important.
And he also reminds us, about the danger of, shiny stuff. There's distractions that can pull us away from our core focus. And remember, the book ends with that powerful message, stay focused.
Mm.
In a world filled with distractions, it's more important than ever to really stay focused on, what truly matters, your vision, your values, and the goals that drive you.
Yeah. Now, chapter 9, he also provides a really helpful guide for implementing EOS. He,
Mm.
he outlines those key tools and the order in which he recommends using them. And again, he emphasizes, you know, mastering those foundational tools like the accountability chart and rocks before moving on to the others.
Yeah, and again, we can only move at our own speed. There's no need to rush the process. It's more important to implement the tools correctly and make sure everyone in the organization understands and embraces them.
Mm.
And and he even shares examples of companies that implemented EOs at different speeds.
Yeah.
Some quickly and some more slowly. The key takeaway is it's not a race. It's about finding what works best for your business and making steady progress toward your goals.
Right. One of the things that I think makes traction so valuable is its practicality.
Yeah.
He doesn't just talk about concepts. He provides a system, a set of tools, and a step-by-step guide for implementing them.
Mm-hmm.
He acknowledges that the journey can be challenging, but he also emphasizes, the rewards that come with building a truly great company.
Wow. Absolutely. And and in the final section of the book, he reiterates, that core message, stay focused.
Right.
He reminds us of that road to Hana analogy. The journey is just as important as the destination. It's about
Yep.
finding joy and fulfillment in the process of building something meaningful.
And he also encourages us to take a moment to just appreciate, how far we've come, even if we haven't reached our ultimate destination yet. Celebrating those milestones along the way, I think, is crucial for maintaining motivation and enthusiasm.
Absolutely. And then he introduces us to the organizational checkup, which is a tool, designed to help you, assess the current state of your business and identify, areas for improvement.
Yeah.
It's a set of 20 statements that you rate on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being, the ideal. So think of it as like, a diagnostic tool for your business. Yeah, and it helps you kind of pinpoint those gaps between where you are now and where you want to be, and those gaps then become issues that you can then address using the issues solving track.
It's a continuous improvement cycle.
Yeah.
So, what's really remarkable is that this EO system has proven effective, across a wide range of industries, different business sizes. In the source material, we saw examples of a real estate firm, a construction group, a soup company, even a laser printer service company. All of these, companies experienced significant growth and improvement after implementing EOS. So, it's not just for one specific type of business.
Yeah, it speaks to the universality of these principles, right? Whether you're a startup or a well-established company, these 6 key components of EOS can really help you, get a grip on your business and achieve your vision.
It's about building that solid foundation for success no matter what industry you're in. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to circle back to a point that Wickman emphasizes throughout the book, and that's the importance of letting go.
Yeah.
Oh, letting go.
This can be tough for entrepreneurs.
So tough.
Right. We're so used to, being in control of every aspect of our businesses.
It's our baby.
It is. We want to nurture every detail.
But as your business grows, it becomes impossible to do everything yourself. And you have to delegate. You have to empower your team and trust that they can handle the responsibilities that you've given them.
Yeah, it's about shifting from, being a doer to being a leader.
Yes.
And this is really where having, the right people in the right seats becomes absolutely crucial. If you don't trust your team, you'll never be able to fully let go.
Right. And letting go isn't just about delegating tasks. It's also about letting go of the need to be right all the time.
Oh, the ego trap. Classic entrepreneurial pitfall. Yeah, it's so tempting to think that we have all the answers, but the truth is we don't.
We don't.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
By being open to new ideas, to feedback, even to criticism, we create a much more collaborative and innovative environment.
Yeah, it's about creating that culture of continuous learning and growth.
Yeah. Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive into traction, I want to leave you with a final thought, something to ponder as you reflect on your own business journey.
I love it.
Something that wasn't explicitly mentioned in the book, but that this exploration has kind of sparked for us.
Okay.
Think about which of those 6 key components, vision, people, data, issues, process, or traction. Think about which one is the weakest in your own business.
Whoa, good question.
Yeah. Is your vision truly shared by everyone? Do you have the right people in the right seats? Are you effectively tracking your key performance indicators? Are you addressing issues in a timely and productive manner? Are your core processes documented and followed? Are you executing on your priorities and achieving traction toward your goals?
Wow, that's a lot to think about.
It is, but to take a moment to honestly assess your business through that lens,
Yeah.
identifying your weakest link is that first step to strengthening it. And by focusing on improving each component, you'll create a more robust, resilient, and ultimately more successful business.
Absolutely.
And if you're ready to get a grip on your business, we highly encourage you to check out Traction for yourself. It's a practical, actionable guide that can help you transform your business and achieve your entrepreneurial dreams.
It's a must-read for any entrepreneur who's serious about building a thriving business that works, even when they don't. So take these insights from this deep dive, apply them to your own journey, and watch your business take off.
That's right. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep pushing forward.
Keep getting traction.
Exactly.
All right, well, that's it for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See you then.